Sit back, strap in, and get ready for After Hours with TC Restani. This is Abigail Harwich, executive producer, welcoming you to the show. And now, TC Restani!
Alrighty, welcome to the After Hours of TC Restani, the podcast. I'm TC Restani, emanating from the palatial podcast penthouse, and I have my esteemed panel of experts here around the dais to speak to. The first, we're going to introduce Duncan. Okay, we ready?
Hey, what's going on, folks, and everything? It's good to be out, good to be here, good to be around.
Unbelievable. My mentor, Mr. Ricky Bittman.
Up and away. Hey, everyone. Good to be here. It's been a while.
It has been a while. We'll get into why we haven't done a show in a while. And joining us all the way from his recovery room, none other than the man who can see better than anybody else in the world right now, our longtime close personal friend, the milkman himself, Quincy Briscoe.
Yay!
Up and away, hey.
Up and away. Hey.
Hey, there he is. All right.
I can hear the sound effect from $6 Million Man.
So Quincy, everybody out there knows you were having cataract eye surgery. You had it just yesterday when we're recording this, and as you can see the picture on the screen, joining us on the phone, Quincy Briscoe. That was a picture taken of him just today, leaving the Mass Eye and Ear with his Ray Charles sunglasses
Mass
on.
Eye and Ear, top of the line. I mean, we don't get any better.
That's right. Now,
spare no expense.
They got me signed in quickly. And they went over all the paperwork. We're going to just do both eyes at once, sign me right in, and just took me in, right to my room. And before you know it, I got knocked out.
Nice.
Before I even knew it, it was like a 20-minute procedure. Maybe this is a bit longer. And I woke up like maybe 20, maybe a little bit later, and that's it. I'm done.
Did you get a sponge bath?
You're all done. And someone comes over, you're out of surgery. You're done. Now we're going to take you to your recovery room. You're going to spend the night with us.
Did they wash you down? Did they wash you down with sponges, the nurses at all?
Mass General, they're very, very good. They're over in Boston.
I guess there's no comment, huh?
You know, Quincy, I think you need to get your ears fixed next.
Yeah, next is the ears.
Quincy, Ricky Bittman asked you, did the nurses give you a sponge bath?
What?
The nurses, did they give you a sponge bath?
No, I didn't have to get one.
Oh,
I just showered.
Should have told them you needed one
when I came home, but you can't get the eyes wet, so I'll just
that's true.
I run my hand with water through the head.
Okay.
But because you can't get your eyes wet for a month.
Okay, what have you cut onions around you and your eyes teared up?
I think they didn't cut anything. I think there must have been like with a laser.
A laser beam. Okay.
Don't watch any very special episodes. You'll cry. I don't think you can hear me.
I think it was done with a laser. Now we just have to wait for its healing processing.
Okay, great. So
and the dinner was excellent. They signed me up. Someone wrote down like a burger, milk, Pepsi, and mashed potatoes.
Wow, my favorite food is mashed potatoes.
It was an excellent dinner, and just watched a little bit of TV, and I came.
Whoa!
Wow, yeah, watch.
How can you watch TV when your eyes are covered?
Because my eyes are covered with plastic, covering, and you can 95% of the way see. Believe it or not, right after this, I'm surprised too that I can see I thought I couldn't see anything, but you can actually see everything 95% of the way. So I just watched a little TV, and then it came. It's like you should start thinking about getting some rest because you can have code 7. That's coffee kind of early in the morning, which is good. And then you're gonna get a test evaluation, and that's just what I did. I went in just dozed off about 10 o'clock, and they came in about 7 o'clock. And of course they take blood tests, medications all through. Couple of times in the night, then in the morning, they brought my coffee, toast, sausage,
now, Quincy.
eggs.
Quincy.
How's that?
It's awesome. Quincy, I heard you learned Braille in the last 24 hours.
I was in what?
You learned how to read Braille.
Braille?
Yeah, it's the language for blind people.
Believe it or not, I didn't even have to like talk or anything like blind people.
Okay,
But,
well, obviously, maybe you can teach it somewhere down the line.
Yeah, there's no blind people in Mass General. They're all healed.
That's true. Now, Quincy. Quincy.
However, like when I heard someone's buzzer go off, I pressed my buzzer
Nice.
to call someone and say, I hear a buzzer. And I did the same thing again, like
Supplemental
buzzer go
buzzering.
off. I don't have anything wrong, but I
Let-
hear buzzers go off.
Let's just say, Quincy, those nurses earned their paycheck this week.
And it's like, I told you, I'm a community servicer that tries to keep everything safe. It's like, I don't have anything wrong, but when I hear people's buzzers go off, I'm calling you to say that I hear the buzzers go off. It's like, that's good. It's like,
Quincy.
Like we heard you like to keep everything safe, and it's true.
Quincy.
How about that?
It's great. Quincy, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Did you have a roommate?
I had a roommate,
Who was it?
and there was no problems.
Who was the roommate?
He was, getting something done to the voice, and
Who was the roommate? Quincy?
Roscoe Lee Brown. Remember that episode of
the
Hall of Fame?
roommate's name, but it was just a guy that came in, and he was getting something done to the vocals, something done to the voice. But he would wave at me, talk there through his voice box. We're pressing a button there.
Oh, wow.
And it's like, it's like if you need anything, call. It's like if you need anything, I'll bring my buzzer.
There you go.
Again, remind you, I did that twice. When I heard buzzers go off to say.
Well, we're hearing
I just
buzzers
hope I
right
call
now.
Quick enough. So
All
we
those
can
nurses
treat
called in
these
sick
people
today.
that really needs it, because.
Quincy, can you hear us? We're talking to you, and you're like talking over us.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, all right.
I'm just telling you what.
It's great. I love this story. Now, we have a video that
right.
someone recorded for you, and we're going to play it for you right now. So you're going to be very quiet so you can hear it, okay?
All right.
All right. So Ricky Bittman has the message.
Right into the mic?
Stand by. I'm going to so Quincy, you be quiet, I'll be quiet, and Bittman's going to play the message. So here we go.
Hey Quincy, it's your pal Steve Rostadini. I heard that you had your eyes fixed, and I just want to let you know that I hope the recovery goes smooth. You'll be out on the bike soon. See ya.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
What do you think about that, Quincy? Your friend Steve Razzazzini.
That's awesome.
He recorded
That's
that today.
freaking awesome.
I showed him the picture of you, and he felt very bad, and he says he hopes you get better soon.
Well, it's going to take, unfortunately, it's going to take about a month to complete it, but it's already showing signs of recovery, but I got to take prescribed eye drops.
But I heard from your personal nurse that you will be back here on the microphone in person next week.
Yes.
I hope so, but I have to get approval.
You'll be fine.
But
Always plays it very
sounds
safe.
like it, but they can't get the eyes wet, unfortunately. So just keep the eyes covered.
All right, well, fine.
No crying.
You'll be fine, Quincy. We won't show you any sad movies or cook onions around you or let you go near bull or anything like that. Okay.
Now, and for breakfast, it was kind of early. Then I went down for the test, and it showed pretty good. But I have to go for a follow up, fairly quick. And but they seem to think I maybe I'll get a set of glasses, but with a different kind of prescription. But for now, I'll wear the dark sunglasses over the clear
Looks cool.
shields that they got me and taped over it. And but in order to go outside, wear the dark sunglasses.
Yeah, the glasses that we see on the picture on the screen. You look like, remember those aliens from V when they wore those glasses?
Yep.
That's what you look like, Quince. All right, Quince, I know you're very tired.
Who wore those?
V, aliens on a show called V.
V on Shameless.
V?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's great. I know you look amazing there. All right, Quince, we're going to let you go because you need to get to rest up there, and we'll talk to you next week, buddy.
Well, all of you, thank you for your moral support, and it's good to hear from everyone. And
We miss you.
Likewise.
But as you said, maybe start thinking about getting some rest now, because I'm going to doze off and then wake up later on and get some more eye drops. We have to take them at certain times and get back on all the medicines that I'm prescribed. But You have to treat this thing in order for it to recover. And
You're right.
But both eyes done at once, and
That's a miracle. You're a trendsetter.
it is a miracle. Say good night to everyone for me.
I will.
And
we'll say good night to you, Quince.
Again, thanks for the call.
You're welcome, buddy. And we will talk to you next week, okay?
All right. And all of you, up and away, hey.
Up and away.
Everybody,
Yeah, thanks.
whoever it is, we'll talk again soon.
And Quincy, I just want to let you know that we have a giant box of Cheez-Its being sent to your house tomorrow.
Oh, you guys are awesome. Awesome. All right. Someone will...
Yeah,
if I'm
and if
downstairs,
there's
I'll answer the door. If not, someone will answer it. And
there's
and
one
I'll
thing
get
about
it. How's
hospitals, they have plenty of milk.
Yeah.
I've never seen a
You
hospital
guys
run
are
out of milk
awesome,
before.
Really.
All right, pal. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right. Thanks again.
Good night.
See you later,
Fans.
Quince.
Well, that was nice to hear
That
from
was
him.
nice to hear from Q, man. What we're going to do right now is we're going to take a little commercial break.
Oh, I needed
because
after that.
that was an emotional thing. My eyes are watering.
And I tell you, I think you're right. I think next is the years for him.
It is definitely for the year. Well, he does have the makeshift hearing aids
That's
that he
true.
bought.
That's true.
So I think it's all connected: eyes, ears, nose, and
Yeah,
throat.
yeah.
So that's Quincy Briscoe back on the mend.
He does his best work in person.
He
Let's
does
just
his
leave it.
best work in person, and we will be right back after this big time commercial break.
Hi, I'm Captain Dave Marciano, and how would you like the freshest local New England seafood shipped to you overnight? No running around from store to find what you like. We have it here at AngelicaSeafoods.com. Everything from tuna, haddock, cod, clams, lobsters, scallops, we have it all. The finest seafood overnight to your door, anywhere in the continental U.S. AngelicaSeafoods.com.
All righty, welcome back from that big time commercial break. We're still reeling here, talking about our good friend Quincy.
Yeah, he's kind of lonely looking at that empty microphone.
It is over there. No one's banging the table or
Yep.
talking about Jaws 2 or
That's
anything
right.
like that. But yeah, we were been off for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I think Joel, it was before the president was shot.
Oh, it was before the president was shot.
because I had a lot of stuff prepared for that weekend, although the following episode after that.
That was Saturday,
15th.
July 13th.
I thought it was the 15th.
No, it was the 13th.
13th of July, okay.
I-
You know dates. No, you know
I
dates.
could be mistaken,
I
but-
wouldn't challenge you because my birthday's the 18th, so that would make sense.
Let me just look it up here and just to we don't want to have any false
'Cause I think
information.
my birthday was on Thursday,
It was Saturday, July 13th.
13th. That makes sense.
Not Friday the 13th, but
No.
July 13th. Yeah, that was crazy stuff there.
That was. I mean, it.
I mean, there's no way the
Look at how much
Secret
the world has
Service.
changed since the last time we sat
There's
behind these
no way the
microphones.
Secret Service didn't realize that he was there. I think they let that wanted that. There was a whacking that got prevented by God.
And did you see the video today? There's another video from over Trump's shoulder.
Yes.
And like you could see the guy running around on the
the kid
roof.
roaming around on the roof.
And I've
Right.
seen videos where people are telling police that there's somebody on the
There's
roof.
that was, and to quote Alex Jones, that was an inside job.
And they're getting lazy now. Either that or they just think we're even more stupid than is humanly possible. I mean, it's just really
it was surreal.
like you say, the script was written.
The script was written, and someone else, didn't follow it to the T. I guess
Now, do you think this made him more popular?
Trump.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
More people that I know that on the fence about him.
Yeah.
Well, like that guy's got balls.
Yeah.
And he's not young. He's
not young.
He's
and
pushing 80.
And he doesn't have to do it.
Yeah,
You know
not
what?
many presidents get to raise their fists and everything
Yeah.
and yell after they're assassinated
Fight.
and everything.
Fight.
Yeah, it was taking the moment like that.
Yeah.
It was. I'm not a political person by any stretch of the means. I like entertainment.
Yeah.
And that I mean,
you can't get anything more.
You can't
entertaining.
get more entertaining than that. Especially even like 4 days later, Hulk Hogan is on screen, and
And that was great. I watched that.
I felt like I was 15 years
Yeah.
old again. I was waiting for him to go, well, let me tell you something,
Yeah.
Mean Gene.
Yeah, if he did it, I mean, it would have been awesome. I mean, he's just really, I got the goosebumps.
But
as
he
a
did
kid.
rip the shirt.
He did.
He came out to Real American.
Yeah.
I mean, it was show business, yeah, but it was like there wasn't one person who wasn't watching that wasn't going, America.
Absolutely.
It was just like the Real American
Yeah.
was there.
Because you know what? Maybe it's time for this attitude again where we're saying, you know what? Enough of being a doormat. Let's kick some ass for 4 years. Just 4 years. Look at how fast this 4 years went by.
Brother.
Yeah. Let's just try something new. Speaking of Hulk Hogan, and I should have taken a note on this. He just released. Did you see this? His
Real American beer.
I can't. We got to find that. I want to have some of that.
He's going on a countrywide tour.
You got to keep your eyes open for me.
He'll definitely probably show up here because he's friends with Reno's buddy, the guy who owns the World's Gym, the one that used to be in Somerville, now it's in Tewksbury and whatnot.
Okay.
I forgot the guy's name who owns it, but he's like buddy with Hulk Hogan.
we got to get there for that.
Oh, definitely.
I got to get some Real American beer.
As a kid, I did not like Hulk Hogan because I was a fan of the bad guys.
Of course, same here.
But I'll have to admit, even back then, you got an adrenaline rush.
Oh, no question.
When he came out and the Boston Garden shook.
Yeah.
There's no way you couldn't say, that's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, but I was more fans of the Macho Man and the bad guys.
Of course, yeah. I mean, it was more fun to be fans of them.
But Hulk Hogan, I love that guy.
Yeah.
He's the best.
I mean, we grew up watching wacky things happening, like Roddy Piper pulling the Iron Sheik's pants down in the middle of in the middle of the garden. You must have been there for that.
Absolutely. But yeah, we haven't done a show other than the World Crazy Crisis. I had the worst flu I've had in 5 years.
Yeah, I was worried about you. Tosh Lent was very worried about you.
I was talking like this.
Said, what's up with TC? Is he all right? And I said, I'll text him.
Okay, you know what? My sister works in a hospital. I did the whole COVID test thing. There wasn't an ounce of COVID in my body. Yeah. It was just the old-fashioned flu. And you
can get that in the summertime, despite what people think.
Kicked my ass for I got sick on a Monday night, and I didn't recover until the following Tuesday. So 8 days.
Yeah, it leaves you for a.
I had that.
For a loop.
And it went all the way up. I couldn't sleep because I wear the apnea mask, and I couldn't sleep with that thing on because I couldn't breathe. And I couldn't taste anything or smell anything. And just as quickly as it came, it peaked and it went away.
Well, hopefully that'll get you through the winter now. Maybe you won't get anything.
I think we're going to have one of the world's worst winters ever.
Fuck you.
No, not for sickness. I'm talking about snow.
That's what I mean. I don't want to hear that, the snow. I don't want to hear that.
Because in the New England area, for the last 3 or 4 years, we've had nothing.
Listen, growing up in the 70s, we went decades without snow. Telling you.
I hate the cleanup. I hate shoveling snow and everything. There's not you can buy electrical shovels and that there, but there's no good way around it.
No, and if you get one of those heavy wet snows, you're screwed.
Yeah. Well, I hate it.
I'm
just calling it now.
The Irish, don't see these things out loud.
Well, yeah, he's probably right.
Only half Irish, all right. But getting back to that, so where have you been doing your travels in the last couple of weeks?
It's just been big. My birthday passed.
That's right.
And
did you get the big card we sent?
I did. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
Even Abby signed it.
Well, I was going to have her try to jump out of a cake.
Oh, that would have been
nice.
nice.
You weren't around.
Oh.
Where were you?
I just was busy doing things.
Okay, all right.
No, I would go a little bit of this and that, and I got little side projects every now and then. Those keep me busy.
Well, of course they do.
But we went out for a nice Italian dinner for my birthday. And,
where'd you go?
Went to a little place in Medford called Nappy.
Nappy. Where in Medford is it?
It's right on Salem Street. I guess would be like down by where the rotary is for the get on the expressway.
Like where the police station is?
I don't know where the police station is. Yeah, it's probably this down that. Oh no, that's Medford Square.
Where Golden Buddha used to be?
No, it's on the other side of Medford Square, heading into like Medford Malden area. That long road.
Gotcha. Oh, was it over near by Hungry Herbs?
Yes, where Hungry Herbs used to be.
Okay.
It's across the street, down a little closer as you're heading towards 93.
Where Osco Drug used to be.
Exactly.
Okay, I know exactly what you're talking about.
This place, they don't have a menu.
Okay.
You go in and you just tell them what you like, and they'll tell you what they can prepare for you using that protein. And I was really in the mood for pork chops.
And applesauce.
Yeah, so I was thinking that they're going to bring out applesauce. No, they made me this dish. It was grilled pork chops with roasted peppers and roasted peppers and roasted potatoes in a vinegar sauce. And it was very tangy and very hearty. And we had arancini and meatballs for appetizers. And we had a nice chilled bottle of Chianti. It was delicious.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sounds delish.
That was my birthday.
Yeah, did you get any gifts?
I did. I got tickets to see Alan Jackson at the Garden. That's tomorrow night. He's kicking off his U.S. tour at the TD Garden.
He's not related to Willis and Arnold Jackson, is he?
No. He's a bona fide country music singer.
All right, awesome.
Legend from the 90s.
You are a big country music fan.
I love country, and I like good stuff. I don't like this crap they're playing. I can't be such a sour.
You're like a Waylon Jennings type of guy?
Of course, exactly. I mean, the real stuff. I mean, they can't call what's out there now country music, but Alan Jackson's the real
What
deal.
would you call it now? Suburban?
They call it bro country. I think that's
country.
Bro country. It's like all these young guys like it, and it's just, come on. Any song that mentions text or phones can't be a country song.
No.
Okay.
You shouldn't have cell service out in the middle of the country.
Exactly.
So this is at the Garden?
It's at TD Garden, so I'll be there tomorrow night.
You going to plan anything before or after the
Oh, you know what we're
shindig?
going to do, actually? Tasha's always like, what are we going to do? I said, why does everything have to involve a big, giant meal? I said, we'll go down, we'll take the train in, and we'll go to the Hub Hall, which is underneath the Garden.
See, I haven't been there since they renovated that
I
whole
haven't
thing.
either, but I know that this is down there, and they got a Sullivan's from Castle Island. They got one of those down there. I said, we'll get a couple burgers, and we'll have a couple of beers, and then go upstairs to the show.
Fried clams.
Oh, I've been dying for fried clams.
I haven't had a fried clam in years.
I haven't either.
And Jeff, I've just noticed over there, we're sitting here at the podcast penthouse. Describe your T-shirt right now.
Yeah.
Oh, well, they it's from a little bitty place, Otisburg, California.
So as you see the picture on the screen right now, Otisburg, for those of you comic book fans, in the original 1978 Superman movie with Marlon Brando, Christopher Reeve, Ned Beatty, and Gene Hackman, when Gene Hackman was going to blow up the West Coast and Casa de Lex and blah blah blah, Otis, his goofy sidekick, put down a pen, Otisburg.
Yeah. He wasn't a very bright guy, so the S is backwards. But
That's an awesome show. Where the hell did you get that?
About 2 weeks ago, I was sitting around. I must have saw that movie earlier, and Superman. I must have been watching Superman earlier that day, and I decided to Google Otisburg. Just
that is awesome.
And so that's what came up first. The sign and a couple of and then a couple different and then the T-shirts. So a couple of different versions, but I had to have it
Definitely.
then and there and everything. I was like,
that's an SBJ shirt if I ever saw
It
one.
really is. That's fantastic.
I mean, you wear that to the conventions, everybody's going to flock up to you and go, Otisburg!
Otisburg, this is good, and I get to hear everybody's Gene Hackman impression. And oh geez, my arm it wasn't that long, see, but Otisburg, yes, it's a little bitty place, and it's
I'm going to tell you the likeness is good because I couldn't read. I didn't have my glasses on. I couldn't read that it said Otisburg, and your strap was obscuring it. But I knew that was Ned Beatty, and I thought this is a shirt like for Deliverance, like he's running tours up and down the river, like to get your car. He was
Squeal like a pig!
And, yeah, exactly. Because it looks like the hat he wore in Deliverance to me. I don't know.
Well, that was a couple years after Deliverance. Deliverance is what, 73?
Yeah, it was a popular hat. It was a popular hat at the time. But
do you get a free bowl of
soup?
soup?
But it wasn't like his name. What was his name? No, Burt Reynolds was Lewis. So I forget what Ned's name was.
Yeah, I don't remember either.
He was
tough movie to watch. But
he was little piggy.
Who's picking a banjo here? Superman has been on a lot on cable a lot lately. They've been running all of them.
All four of them, yeah. We were talking about that off air, Jeff and I. We were talking about how bad Superman 4 was.
Yeah.
I mean, if you go
Superman 1, I mean, what happened? That was so great.
Well, it was done by Richard Donner.
Exactly. No, I know, but why? Why did it fall apart? Like, why did they let that happen?
Well, Superman 2, do you know the backstory on Superman 2?
You might have told me. But I
Okay.
can't.
Superman 1 and 2 were filmed simultaneous.
Good. Okay.
So
I like that.
And when Richard Donner, he got fired because Superman was a huge hit, and they already had 90% of the other movie in the can. So like, we don't need him to pay him. So they shit canned him, and they brought in Richard Lester, who did like the Beatles movies.
Yeah. That's right. Okay.
So he had to fill in the blanks. But Marlon Brando refused to give his likeness away for Superman 2.
Yeah.
So they had to do it with Superman's mother. Remember when he wanted to become human and bang Lois?
Yeah.
So 30
Not
years
worth it.
30 years later, Richard Donner said, I want to do my cut of Superman 2.
Yeah.
So they had to piece together all footage. Some of it was test footage. And the movie's totally kind of different. It's better, but Marlon Brando has been reinserted into it because the estate gave him permission because it was Richard Donner's original vision.
Right.
And it's a much better movie.
Now, how did that get released?
It's only on DVD.
Okay. Why? I have this great steel box set of Superman. It's got all the movies in it, and it's got the Superman versus the Mole Men, all the Max Fleischman cartoons and everything. And I got to check now if that's in there.
It's called Superman 2, the Richard Donner cut.
And it's better.
I mean, it's different, but it has the same ending as Superman 1.
Yeah.
And, when he makes the world rotate. So it's kind of weird that they did the same thing.
Wait a minute. So Superman 1, there's 2 versions of it.
No, Superman 2.
Okay, there's Superman 2, but why would Superman 2 have... Oh, that's right.
Because it was going to be his original ending. It was
Now I know exactly what this thing is. It's
I
not
mean,
like-
don't get me wrong. The Richard Lester stuff, I still enjoy it.
Yeah.
But the Richard Donner cut has... When she remember in the other version, she finds out he's Superman because he trips and falls into a fire and his hand doesn't burn.
Yeah.
In the other version, the Donner version, it was from a screen test where she tries to shoot him.
Okay.
And whatnot.
Then I have seen it because I remember that scene.
Right. It's weird. It's different. But it's like an alternate universe version.
I should bring that up and show you guys because you'd be really impressed with the
Now,
set.
is anybody aware of the original script for Superman 3 that they had?
No.
Now, let me tell you that this would have been a trip and a treat within itself. But now they were toying around with the idea. It was originally supposed to be Christopher Reeve's, like Supergirl was supposed to be in it, and it was supposed to be do you know who? Remember Mr. Plitzek
Yes.
from the Super Friends?
Yep.
Yeah, it was supposed to be him.
Oh, Mixelplick.
Mixelplick or something like
Yeah,
that.
it was, and he was supposed to be played by Dudley Moore. That would have been, but so they had this original script, and the only way they could, to send him back to his dimension was for Superman to sleep with his sister. So Christopher Reeve looked at the script and he threw it down. You're gonna have to figure out something because I'm not getting behind this movie. You're gonna have to change the script somehow.
So instead of him banging somebody, they bring in Richard Pryor and try to scam money out of something.
They probably told Pryor that Marlon Brando was going to be there, if you know what I mean.
Remember he would have made an excellent Mr. Plicknick.
Oh, he looks exactly like him.
Yeah.
Dudley Moore.
I
remember
could picture it.
I remember the Mego figure from Mr. Mixelplick. It was like I wanted it, but I was like, I can't buy this.
But
Were you like 20 at the time?
No, because that came out when I was a kid. I don't even know how to spell Mixelplick.
So I got my I got my Otisburg shirt. I went. My next score is maybe I can find out the Ross Company from Superman 3. What was Robert Vaughn's company?
Oh, I don't remember.
Ross Corps.
Well, I mean, he was basically Lex Luthor. Gene Hackman
pretty
said,
much.
"Fuck you, I ain't doing this." And then lo and behold, 4 years later, he comes back and does Superman 4, where they must have. I don't even know what they paid him for that to do that.
Look at that kid. Is that the worst action figure?
That's the Mr. Plitnick.
That looks. That
Looks like they had an old penguin mold or something like that.
That, or you know who he looks like in this picture? We can find a picture of he looks like Paulie Walnuts.
You can pick shit out. It's unbelievable when you do that. Remember that figure?
He does look like yeah.
And they just sort of
I like
threw
the
that
hat,
together, like the plastic gloves, and he's wearing socks and a pink derby. I mean, what the hell? It's like the most. But I remember that came out when I was a kid. But I was a Marvel guy back then.
Yeah. You had to get him. You had to trick him into getting to say his name backwards, and
Exactly.
that sent him back.
What
to
was his name backwards? I don't even know. I can't.
Kip Z YXM.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
YXM. What is it? Algebra?
Right? It was a Mego figure too, but I wasn't into the
The
DC
only Mego
movies.
figures that I remember were the Star Trek ones.
I have a Star Trek one graded of Spock.
Really?
And it's cased in acrylic. I thought it was going to be worth some big bucks. I never did get it signed, but it's one of my prized possessions.
How much is it worth? Did you got it?
I don't know. I guess I've never seen one before.
Because they used to be. I remember seeing the Mego figures at like Kmart and Bradley's.
Yeah.
And I was into the Star Wars junk, so I never bought any of that.
I had a
crap.
lot of the Migos.
But I wish I did.
I had a lot of the Planet of the Apes. I had all the Planet of the Apes.
I had my cousins gave me their Planet of the Apes ones, the ones that were like this, like it was Jesus being crucified with the arms out,
yeah.
and it had the metal skeleton in it.
Yep.
When the plastic rubber deteriorated, it like popped out. Remember I showed you that picture of the astronaut
Yep.
that I found?
Yeah, geez, those are.
I looked
Yeah,
on the
I
back of
remember
it.
the Mattel, or was it that astronaut?
No, that
it came
was-
with a tip or something.
I think that
like
was Kenner that put those out, or
probably,
whatever
yeah.
pre-Kenner was.
Kenner. Remember
And
that?
the figure I looked on, the astronaut, they put it on they used to stamp the figures on the ass,
Yeah.
and they say what year it was. It was 69 or 70.
Wow.
It was
Right after the movie came out. In
I don't know if that was the Charlton Heston figure because it didn't have a beard.
Because they probably just figured, well, we'll just make it a generic.
A generic
astronaut.
one, generic
Then we don't
astronaut.
have to pay Chuck.
So I have that now in my cabinet at home because that's been missing in my house for easily 40 years.
Isn't that amazing when you
And my
find something
sister
like
was
that?
doing some cleaning. She goes, she found 2 items. She found that and my Empire Strikes Back red Yoda thermos
Oh,
that was
that's
in the
right. I remember you
lunchbox.
showed me that. Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God. I mean, I looked at that,
Yeah.
someone gave me like $20 for it. I'm not going to sell it. But just the fact that that figure is 55 years old and in relatively decent condition.
Yeah. I
It's
remember
really
showing
cool.
that. Yeah, that's cool.
But yeah, no, I never was into the Mego figures as
Oh,
a
I
kid.
liked them. I liked them a lot.
I know a lot of my older cousins had them, and they made everything. Didn't they even have Happy Days ones?
They had Happy Days. They had, I think they had even Laverne and Shirley. They had Welcome Back Kotter figures.
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
they had all the Star Trek, those obscure characters you could imagine.
Star Trek ones were good too. The uniforms were really good, and the faces looked like the characters and
Right.
everything. I mean, you figure the superheroes are easy because they're looking like a mask, like Spider-Man. You didn't have to. Really make them-
Superman.
That's true.
But who do they mold it after? That wasn't Christopher Reeve.
No.
Was it George Reeves that they made it after?
Probably,
Or
probably.
just some just generic Ken doll that they just put
and they
their
had
head on?
Batman and Robin, and like they had like little nylon capes and stuff like that. The only thing I didn't like was the gloves. They were like big oven mitts. The gloves
Were they?
of Batman. So I just took the gloves right off. I'm like,
Well, maybe we
Batman.
should start a collection
What?
of finding Migos. Maybe
Oh
that's
God, no! I have. You know what I have? Metacom. No, what is it? Metacom put up Planet of the Apes figures a long time ago. I bought the entire set.
Okay.
And I have it in my closet at home. And I'm like, the value has just gone down because so many other figures came out looking better. But I still say the detail on the Metacom figures are the best. And someday I'm going to find some
Which
sucker.
Planet of the Apes ones do you have?
The like the series, they have the Conquestors in there. None of the Escapes, but Planet
Any
of the Apes.
character names?
Yeah, they got Cornelius. They have Caesar. They have Charlton Heston's Taylor, Nova, Dr. Zaius. I mean, they look just like they have the ones that came down and there was Escape from the Planet of the Apes because they have Milo, the astronaut who gets killed. I mean, the
Dr. Milo.
Aponat. The
That was
Aponat. Salminio.
Salminio.
Yeah.
Oh, they don't have Ricardo Montalban's character?
No, they didn't.
They didn't have him. Armando.
Yeah.
Those movies, obviously, they're classics. The last 2 were like Superman 2 and 3 and 4.
what?
Of Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, well, Battle.
Well, actually, no, the third one was great.
Beneath
The
the,
one-
planet and that kind of stuff. Beneath the planet of the
Yeah,
apes.
yeah,
I mean,
Beneath it was good because it was kind of psychedelic and about the end of the world and all that.
And the guys at the mutate. and-
yes, but it just was missing something like the oomph of the first one, and the third one was Escape when they come back.
That
to
one
Earth.
I like because it was a time travel
yeah,
story.
and it was kind of funny and everything. It had kind of kitschy. Of course, it ends very tragic.
It's a horrible ending.
It really is. And I liked Conquest, but I think the thing about Conquest is that they switched out the endings because the original ending was too violent.
Now, remember the guy, the heavyset guy with the glasses?
Yes, Culp.
Was his name?
Yeah.
Do you know he was in Back to School teaching the monkeys?
Right. That's right.
Oh,
that's
I'm
right.
here to teach these apes how to read and write.
That's
right.
I don't know if that was an inside joke or something, but it was like 12 years later that he's back on screen again with monkeys.
He probably just tried to tell that story to Rodney Dangerfield. Yeah, that's great. That's great.
You go over there and eat the pizza, and we'll bring the monkeys in.
Oh, when I was working with Charlton Heston, he leaned me over and oh, I'm sure
Yeah.
he did. I'm sure he did.
Yeah, that's
Charlton
great.
Heston,
That's
he's a
great.
prick.
That's great. That's great. Hit record.
I was channel surfing the other day, and Back to School was on.
Love that movie.
And the part where he's at the beginning when he comes home and everyone's using his house like their own personal country club, and he goes over to make himself a sandwich. He's like scraping the bread out and just stuffing it with cold cuts, and he goes, "I hate small food." And he goes,
Here,
"Hey,
hold
you
it."
put your hand right there." And he cuts the sandwich and puts a beer in his pocket. I was like, "That's me."
Or the best part was when he was at poolside eating it, and Adrian Barbeau brings over the yuppies.
Yeah, he's
and,
shaking
and
his hand.
he puts the shit
Yeah.
out of his mouth, and he's shaking. How you doing, sir? How you
Yeah.
doing, sir? I would love that. Rodney Dangerfield, he left us too soon.
He did. He really
Certainly
did.
did.
I mean, even though the guy was like almost 80, but still.
I saw him at the Colonial Theater. Me and my buddy Stick from Southie, Jurassic. And at the
That's
end
what
of
my brother Eddie liked to call him.
Yep.
Yes.
Jurassic.
Yeah, that's
Jurassic,
what
hey,
they call him.
Jurassic.
I saw him a couple weeks ago. He's doing good. Cool. At the end of the movie, he just was like, I'm sorry, at the end of the concert, he did his comedy show, and he's just sort of like saying goodbye to everyone. And he says, what's in the future for me? Everyone's asking, Rodney, what's up next? He goes, well, I'm in negotiation right now to make a movie with Benny Hill. The whole audience gasped. Wouldn't that have been something? Benny Hill and Rodney Dangerfield together making a...
What year was this?
Oh, God. I think I might have still been in high school, maybe 83, 84.
So this
maybe.
was before Back to School.
Yeah, definitely before he made the movie. This was right as the movie that the album came out that put him back on the.
So it was after Caddyshack.
Probably, yeah.
Because that was
it had to have
80.
been, yeah, it had to have been after.
But was it before Easy Money or after Easy Money?
I can't be 100%
That was 83.
sure. I can't be 100% sure. But we saw him live. We were up in the balcony, and he was funny.
That would have been awesome to see
Yeah.
Rodney Dangerfield.
And Benny Hill. Wouldn't that be something?
That would have been a filthy movie.
I feel very fortunate to have seen him. I mean, because when you think, then he was in his 50s,
Yeah.
and he's just out on the stage by himself, just riffing these jokes that you've heard a million times, but they're just so funny because he's just so great.
He must have been high as a kite. He used to do that. No, too bad we didn't doing the autograph collecting back then. We could have found out where he was.
Yeah, he would have been a good one, I'll tell you.
Yeah, I mean, he died in 2004.
Oh, yeah, he was in
He's
rough
been dead for
shape.
20 years.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem like that.
Yeah, he was in rough shape when he went, too.
But that's just some.
Speaking of comedians, I was watching a TV show tonight, and Bob Saget had a cameo.
What was it?
Shameless. I'm in the final season of Fiona. You know,
Okay.
we talk about this every now and then.
Oh, okay, yeah.
She just crashed her car,
Okay.
and Kevin and V, the daughter for show and tell, brings in one of their dildos to class. They get called into the priest office. The priest is Bob Saget.
Oh, was it? I don't remember that.
And he's telling them how he went down a very strange path sexually when he was in the Navy, and he's telling these stories, and I'm like, this is unbelievable. I'm listening to Bob Saget tell this filthy story to these people. I had no idea he was going to be in it.
Bob Saget was one of the nicest people we've
I
ever
believe
met.
it, yeah.
I mean, there's if I can find it, if it's on the screen right now, that means I found it with him and Bull.
Yeah.
And it was in the pouring rain in New York City.
I remember
and,
that.
he comes over and Bull, whatever he said. And Bob Saget was wonderful to see you. And he posed with him. He was the nicest guy.
Yeah. Sad what happened to him. So this is my last season with Fiona.
Then shut it off. I mean,
Yeah, I got to kick it to the end.
I mean, you
though.
have to go to the end just to see what happens to Frank.
Yeah.
But
No, I can only imagine. But it's like, so she's Ian just headed off to jail.
right.
And I got to tell you, I busted out laughing when he turns around and Mickey was his cellmate.
Okay.
Because I hated Mickey at the beginning.
Right.
I kind of like Mickey now.
He grows on you.
Yeah, so I don't know. I like talking about the show because nobody I know watched
You've seen
it
it more recent than I have. I haven't
Yeah.
seen Shameless probably like 4 years. I haven't watched it.
I can't believe I'm almost done with it. It feels,
But it's like I said, it's probably the second best show, in my opinion, the second best show of the 21st century behind Breaking Bad.
yeah, I agree.
Without question.
Yeah, I agree.
It's just so good. And no one cared about it when it left.
Yeah.
It was just like, oh yeah, and tonight's the final episode of Shameless.
Oh, that's too
wasn't
bad.
on Entertainment Tonight or no tweets or anything. It was just
And the
like
cast's so talented, and they really grew up on that show. I mean, it's a long time.
10 years
Yeah, that's
on a
long
television
time in
show.
life.
And, he obviously Lip went on to do Carrie Von Erich.
Yep, and he's in The Bear, which is the most popular show on
So
television.
good. I always said that kid was a tremendous actor. Even as a kid, he
Yeah.
even was great.
I gotta tell you, what a prick, though. Have you seen the video of him signing autographs?
No, I haven't.
He's outside of the premiere of The Bear.
Right.
All He's literally, this is the pen. All right, say this is the pen. People are holding him. He's going like this.
He wasn't looking at him.
Just, that's all he's doing. I'm like, why fucking bother,
So he's got
As a stalker, what would you think of that, Jeff?
Well, you get the same thing from Al Pacino if you're lucky. If he's not dressed up as a homeless person.
Well, remember from Rupert Pupkin, the more scribble the name, the bigger the
But he wasn't
fame.
even scribbling it. It was just like it was nothing.
What's his real name? His name's Jeremy White, right?
I almost said Philip Seymour Hoffman. for some reason.
Jeremy Allen White.
Yes, that's his name.
So what is it? JW,
But
squiggle,
still,
squiggle?
it's like,
Yeah, it's
come
very
on.
pompous. Yeah, it is.
The video just really bothered me. And you know what the other thing is? If you go onto his Instagram account, I
Right.
guess you can always put a website on your Instagram account. I've actually had to take myself off Instagram. If you want to talk about that, I'll talk about that. But
And Mark Hamill loves you, I heard.
I was kind of hoping CJ was here because we'll talk about that in a minute. But his website is blacklivesmatter.com. It's nothing against Black Lives
Who's,
Matter.
Lips?
Jeremy Allen White, yeah.
So what?
But come on. How much do you have to pander to the left when you're a celebrity? For Christ's sake.
Well, you have to. You get
And that whole organization is proved to be a complete farce anyway. That woman stole money from people.
you get canceled.
Oh, Jesus.
So speaking of that, all right.
Yeah.
Now, Ricky Bittman, you are on Twitter at your handle is at Bittman Ricky.
Yeah.
And I don't know if these are like drunken tweets in the middle
I
of the
wish
night.
that, if they were, it would be a lot easier to explain.
Now, are you on the Winnebago when you're doing
Yeah,
this?
yeah.
Okay, for those of you who haven't, I highly recommend following Ricky Bittman on Twitter.
I haven't done anything in a
at
while.
Bittman Ricky. Now, Mark Hamill, of course, is Luke Skywalker, but he has turned to the dark side.
Yeah.
I mean, they got to have something on that dude.
They have to.
Because he campaigned for Biden at the White House.
Yeah.
And, he's the greatest president since Abraham Lincoln, blah, 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 blah. It's like, dude, you don't talk about Star Wars, which made you, or the Joker. You're just, and if you read the comments after him, 90% of the people are shitting on Mark Hamill.
100%. I mean, I don't even say bad stuff, but I lay into him.
Yours were tame.
Yeah, exactly.
Next to some of the things that people go shove a lightsaber up your ass.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm just like, fuck him. I mean, it's just, come on. Don't we get enough of that on the news and from coworkers and family members and people that
you know what he's doing? He's tarnishing his reputation like Ric Flair did in wrestling. He was, Ric Flair, and then he became he's an annoying little old guy who gets in fights with people. His reputation as Luke Skywalker is completely tarnished. Yeah. Completely.
You don't see Harrison Ford doing
Not at all.
No,
not at all. And Carrie Fisher, if she was alive, she wouldn't say a fucking word.
No, it's like, who was the, somebody asked Harrison Ford a question at Comic-Con comparing him to somebody else. And he said, I'm not going to answer that stupid fucking question. I wish I could remember the question.
Well, I saw him at the Comic-Con, and he's I guess he's the Red Hulk in this new movie.
In Marvel,
and he goes, I wish I was green, but that's it's already been taken.
Oh, the Red Hulk's cool. I haven't fanboyed out for Marvel movies in a while, but this sounds like it's going to be cool. And then when Downey steps out as Dr. Doom.
Really?
That's pretty cool.
See, I'm not into the comic books.
Did you see the unveiling?
I did, yeah.
Oh, it was pretty cool.
It was like, it reminded me of when Diamond Dallas Page exposed himself as the Undertaker's stalker. He took the mask off and did the whole thing like that.
Yeah.
It just sort of reminded me of, and that went over like a fart in church too.
Yeah.
I like Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
I like his movies. To me, he's always going to be Derek Lutz from Back to School.
True.
Yep.
But yeah, you've had a couple good jabs at Mark Hamill.
Mark Hamill, and I'm going to tell you right now, who I hate even more than Mark Hamill, Stephen King.
Oh, God.
What a fucking prick he has just become. I mean, he's just like, he tweets, I fear for my country. The opening of the Republican National Convention made him fear for his country.
Because the Hulkster was there?
But it's like, why do you fear for your country?
This guy was president for 4 years and nothing happened.
So I went back to him. I said, I call him Drama Queen
instead of Stephen King.
So I said, hey, Drama Queen. I said, did you fear for your country when all these radical groups and Antifa were burning cities and smashing windows in Boston and putting people out of business? Did you fear for your country then? I'm just curious. That's all. I just want to know.
Did he respond?
Of course not. He's a douchebag. Stephen King, you're a douchebag, and so is your son. I read those comics that your son wrote. They suck. The story doesn't make sense. No kid has a keyhole in the back of his head.
Now, weren't you in Maine not too long ago?
Oh, yeah. I always go up to Maine. I actually wanted to go to the Jason Aldean show like 3 or 4 years ago. The arena near Bangor is right near his house.
Okay.
So I said to Tosh, we're going to go over there. I'm going to get my picture taken in front of his house because I loved Stephen King's books. But now his books all have political correctness and social awareness and they're all a play for the left and everything. Listen, I'm no way either way. I really am no more way one of the, maybe a little bit now after watching the Hulk Hogan come out on the Republican National Convention, but still, just come on, just write a good story.
Yeah, keep it in your universe.
Yeah, just fuck
both
this.
of you, like Stephen King and Mark Hamill.
Yes.
Keep it within your wonderful universe that we like you from.
And then you got this asshole Jack Black. I mean, I was a huge fan of Tenacious D.
Oh, me too.
I fucking love him. And again, I still listen to their music, but I was just so disappointed in him. They got him and
Kyle Gass.
Kyle Gass. I always forget. He calls him Jables sometimes. It's his birthday, and they said, "Did you make a wish?" And he says, "Yeah. What was the wish?" He goes, "Don't miss Trump next time." I mean, he's an Australian. He says he's wishing, they killed him.
Isn't there a law that you can't threaten the president?
I always thought there was, but you know what? Somebody must have got to him because they immediately shut down the tour. They got thrown out of Australia and they're back home, and he hasn't said a friggin' word since.
Well, maybe Mark Hamill should take suit.
Yeah, I mean, I did see Jack Black go out, and he's obviously a Democrat, and he did a big speech and everything. I'm like, okay, that's cool. I mean, you can't get away from it nowadays. But I honestly think this Kyle Gass said this without him knowing it, and he's probably sitting in this Kyle Gass down. Jack Black's probably strangling him, going, "You asshole! We had a tour lined up,
a world tour.
Yeah, and come on, why do you have to?" Who are you trying to impress with that remark? Really?
Here's the list with all these people who are all, like I said, I'm not political. Yeah. I don't care about it. I vote Bull Montana every election. And God damn it, he's going to win one of these days. But Were these people? What are they? What does the government have on? Were they all on Epstein's island?
I'm going to tell you, I think that has a lot to do with it.
They have something, their hands in the cookie jar, and they got caught.
I think I told you the story about Sidney Pollack and Steven
Spielberg,
allegedly.
right?
That was told to me in the 80s, like 1987,
And that took place on Martha's Vineyard, right?
Nantucket.
The same thing.
Yeah, but I'm just saying. But still, I mean, in this dude had no reason to lie to me. He had no reason to make that up back then.
If you're going to make something up, you're going to use Sidney Pollack.
Exactly. And I'm like,
half the world doesn't even know who Sidney Pollack was.
Right. And I'm like, and, I think Corey Feldman is telling the truth, and I think someday he's going to really tell the truth.
Yep. Like they know that they're just trying to shut him up. I read his book and everything. It was great stories out of that book and everything, but everybody's just trying to just keep it hush hush, Corey.
Yeah,
Just
they
keep
must
it-
be.
And what movie was Sidney Pollack? One of his last movies that he was in?
Tootsie.
Eyes Wide Shut.
Well, that thing. Jesus. I mean,
That's
come
more
on.
a documentary, I bet.
Yeah.
Then and they had Bohemian Grove or in July.
Yeah,
Alex Jones had someone in there and videotaping it again. This time with with HD with an iPhone. All this weird and the opening of the ceremonies of the Olympics.
I mean, come on.
I mean, that looked like a bad Star Trek episode.
And they're trying to now play that off that it was like some banquet of Dionysus or something like that.
What?
It wasn't supposed to be a representation of the Last Supper. It was supposed to be a representation of the Feast of Dionysus, a Greek god or something to that effect. So I can almost see that. But what nobody talks about is the announcers were talking. They kept calling it the Last Supper.
Okay,
so no wonder people are getting bullshit.
And what has? All right, they're doing that thing of the Greek gods, but why was there a young kid on stage and the guy next to him's nutsack was hanging out?
Yeah, well, they back in. Was it as Basil Fawlty said on Fawlty Towers? Well, the Greeks, they invented it, didn't they?
Okay, that was 2,000 years ago.
I get it, but I'm just saying it's like
how did NBC? You can't say shit on TV,
Yeah.
but they're showing some dude's nutsack hanging out
and a
next
little
to a kid
Yeah.
on worldwide television with a guy dressed as a Smurf.
They're trying to take away serious punishment for people who molest kids. Like there are states that are considering lessening the punishment for this. I mean, you see it every day. This isn't just fake bullshit. Where is this coming
it's really
from?
big in Australia.
Yeah.
Just like I told it, it's like a what's his name? Anthony Kidman, Nicole Kidman's dad, ran the biggest satanic church, or it was anti-pagan church over there and everything.
Well, remember the episode of Shameless when the kid toucher moved into the neighborhood and everybody rallied, and it was a woman, it was a girl, and Lip went undercover to infiltrate her.
That is a tough scenario, because I'm like, how could anyone do that to a kid? But then I'm like, well, if that was my teacher, I mean,
right. Every guy in the world would agree with you. But I'm just saying that neighborhood rallied around it.
Yeah.
It was like kid toucher, and they all went down there with their baseball bats and
she
whatnot.
opens the door. She's a cute blonde.
And they're like, oh.
But and they handled it really smartly because then they showed her deviance.
Right.
Even though she was a woman, she was still a friggin' sicko.
You'll never look at peanut butter again. No way.
That's based on a true story. Yeah, that's all you see in the news. I've seen that story about that, the woman who was running the pedophile ring from the daycare, and she owned this hot blonde, her and her husband and everything. Thousands and thousands of nasty pictures on their phone.
Honest to God, of kids, my God, don't they have enough trouble being kids?
I mean, it was around when we were younger, but just not as public.
And back then, it was almost laughed at. I mean, it was like. I mean, look at the sketch on Saturday Night Live. Buck Henry and Lorraine Newman and Gilda Radner. Remember, he was the babysitter, the uncle that came over, and he had the girls play hide and peekaboo or something. They put their nightgowns over their head, and then
I vaguely remember that. or the very special episode of Different Strokes.
Exactly.
with WKRP's
I would
Mr.
say
Carlson.
I would say Jerry Stucker and the producers of Airplane though were the first to actually joke about it, and then Peter Graves and everything. Ever been in a cockpit?
Yeah.
No, sir. Ever seen a grown man naked?
Yeah.
Hey, do you ever hang out by the gymnasium? I mean,
you like movies about gladiators.
Yeah, gladiator movies. Speaking of Buck Henry, there's a picture you can find online, and I'm envious of Buck Henry. It was probably taken in 1979 or 1980. He's out by a pool on a lounge chair, and Carrie Fisher's in a one-piece bathing suit, and she's grabbing his family jewels. Yeah. It's like, man,
He had game. I'm telling you, Buck Henry back in the day.
He co-directed that Heaven Can Wait, the one with Warren Beatty.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
and Warren Beatty and him co-directed that.
He for a while he was like he had hosted Saturday Night Live more than anyone else back in the
And then
80s.
people didn't know who he was.
No, he was funny though.
I mean, he was a writer behind the scenes, but it's like, who is this guy?
He was very funny.
Who's Buck Henry? Is he
was-
on Buck Rogers? I
He
mean,
was
who is
in the great movie called The Absent-Minded Waiter, Steve Martin movie that he used to show before his concerts in the 70s.
Oh, okay.
It was like a 15-minute movie where he played an absent-minded waiter.
Well, good thing Quincy's not here listening to that. I don't want to talk about him. Yeah, he's a bum. I can't see him no more. Which is good. But anything coming down the pike? Any big projects, Ricky Bittman? I know you always get something on the back burner.
Well, you know, I asked you the other day about a reference for a title belt, a WWF title belt,
Yes.
a wrestling title belt.
Right.
You had an interesting story. So I reached out to your buddy there, and he didn't have what I wanted at the price I wanted.
Right.
But I have something interesting. I went on to WWE.com, and the price was astronomical.
Like $700 or something?
Well, it was $480, which isn't bad.
Okay.
It went down to $429, and I kept saying to myself, I cannot justify the purchase of this.
Right.
So then one day out of the blue, I go in, and all the prices are crossed off in red, and they're calling it a flash sale with a code. So I got the big gold WWF World Heavyweight Championship belt with the rubies and everything. I wish I had a picture of it.
Right.
For $300.
That's just a good deal.
Yeah. Now, because and what I'm going to do with this, I have to perform my nephew's wedding in October, and I'm going to give this to
In
him.
Aruba.
In Aruba, yes.
Right. Now, how are you going to get through the metal detector?
Well, that's just it. After I bought it and was delivered, because I had it delivered to another location, because I don't want
Right.
Tosh to know that I spent this money.
$300?
Yeah, just yet anyway. I just say to myself, how the fuck am I going to get through? So I might just take it as a carry-on and let them put it in.
Just wear it.
Well, that's the other thing. You know, I was like, I'll take your belt off, sir. Okay, just lift my shirt up and take my belt off. And it comes in a beautiful case.
Right.
WWF. I should bring it up next week and let you guys see it.
I would love to see it.
Take some pictures with it, because I don't mind. I mean, it's fine.
So that's $300. Now,
Yeah.
Jeff, you are the biggest autograph collector that I know, other than the late great Jerry Perlswig.
Sure.
Do you know Mel Gibson is doing Comic-Cons now?
Yeah, you mentioned that to me. and
Wow.
everything.
He's doing the Salt Lake City Comic-Con. You know how much he's charging for his autograph and a photo with him?
$400.
$7. You know what? He'll sell out too.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Mel Gibson.
Yeah,
but
I kind of was like, well, I'm looking at you thinking it's going to go one or two ways, but I'm like, it's not going to go on the cheap end. I was going to say $40, kind of, which would be awesome. He'd be, he'd clean up, I think.
Oh yeah. They're like there are suckers that would pay it. He's the greatest. I mean, just the other night I was watching Road Warrior again. Like the second Mad Max movie, probably the greatest one since Fury Road was tough to beat.
Yes.
But yeah, like the suckers that will pay that. I won't.
Yeah.
No.
Flashback to February of 1996.
Okay.
Mel Gibson is getting the Hasty Pudding Award.
Oh.
And he stayed, all the celebrities, anybody who wants to meet anybody from the Hasty Pudding, they all stay at the Charles Hotel in
Nice.
Harvard Square.
Beautiful.
And I was there waiting with the late, great Jerry Perlswig.
Oh, Jesus.
Jerry Perlswig, for those of you who don't know what he's like, just imagine our good friend and co-host Quincy as an old man.
Yeah. He looks like Lyle Wagner.
Lyle Wagner. Oh my God.
He looks like Lyle Wagner's proctologist.
Yeah, he looks like Lyle Wagner's slippers. So we're waiting there, and it was a cold, cold night. Now, the week before was Julia Roberts. I was the only one there. I got her, sweetheart. Always defend Julia Roberts till the end. Mel was there. The truck came then back from Harvard that dropped him off, and it was me, Jerry, and this guy Jeff. Not South Boston Jeff, Doug Henning Jeff.
Oh, that asshole.
All right. Mel Gibson comes in and goes to the counter to get messages. This is before cell phones and anything like that. Jerry is looking this way, and he turns and just explodes.
Oh, no.
Meow! Man, Jerry waddles over, running at him like the whole length of the lobby.
Like E.T.?
Exactly. That's exactly how he moved. Mel Gibson, I'll never forget as long as I live, stopped. He was talking to somebody, turned in slow motion like this, saw this coming at him, said something to the lady, and booted right for the elevator.
Crikey.
He took right the fuck off.
You must have wanted to kill Jerry.
I wanted to kill him, but I was also laughing
That's pretty
hysterically
funny.
because the way exactly you meant. Just imagine E.T. and he was wearing like one of those Russian, fur hat, winter hats, and like going meow, meow. Oh, I've never seen a celebrity. It was like in slow motion. He turned his head, and just looked at him, and his eyes opened, and he just fucking went pew like a million miles an hour to
I
the
thought it was
elevator.
a woman telling him to say,
Oh my
I'm
God! I will
pregnant."
never forget that as long as I live. So I could have gotten Mel Gibson for free almost 30 years ago, but
That
now if
would've
I want his autograph, I have to pay.
$700.
Well, that's the combo if you want the picture and autograph. But still, the weird part is when you think of going to Comic Cons, you think all these has-beens
Yeah,
and whatnot.
yeah.
Then all of a sudden, Mel Gibson is showing up.
Maybe eventually the scales are going to tip.
I would definitely go see Mel Gibson at a Comic Con. Just to say hi. I'm not paying $700.
No.
But it's just, I mean, who's
Yeah,
next?
maybe I'll meet him at the urinals again in the bathroom.
Who's next? What other big names are going to be, going to Comic Cons?
Trying to think of who.
Schwarzenegger's done one. Stallone has done one. I mean, is De Niro and Pacino next?
De Niro needs the money. Obviously, he's another kook. For
Notice he's disappeared.
Yeah, well, he got shut
After he
down,
did the whole Biden thing, he was trying to be cool at these rallies, and everybody was like, "Fuck you, you suck."
People are attacking him, and you know what? He doesn't like that because I think he says no one has the balls to say that to me. And these people are getting up and getting right in
Women
his
were
face.
saying it to him.
Yeah, so
if you can go on, I don't know if they removed it off YouTube, but they had cell phone thing. He was in I think down near Tribeca, where his film festival is.
Yeah.
And he came out thinking he was the mayor of Tribeca.
Yeah.
And there was 150 people just destroying him.
Yeah, good. Well, that's what they need.
And then
they need a wake-up call.
He jumped in the SUV and it took off.
They need a wake-up
No one cared that what Robert De Niro had to say. I love him in The King of Comedy.
No, there's roles that he does. It's funny. I posted on. I thought it was I saw this really funny post on Facebook the other night, and what this guy did was there's a picture of him and Leonardo DiCaprio in the Boy Scout uniforms from A Boy's Life.
Yeah, This Boy's Life.
And then the guy took the card from Taxi Driver to a couple of good scouts, and he put a picture of Travis Bickle writing it out. So you got Travis Bickle writing the card, you got the card that says to a couple of good scouts, and then you get this picture of De Niro and DiCaprio, and De Niro is smiling, and DiCaprio's real sad.
Yeah, he's got the scowl on his face,
And I was
and De
like,
Niro's.
this guy put this together perfectly.
Another scumbag, Leonardo DiCaprio. I shouldn't say scumbag. One of those other. Oh, I'm better than anything, and the world's falling apart.
Yeah.
Remember when he did that movie, The Relevant or Relevant?
Yes,
the Revenant.
Yeah.
Where he got attacked by the bear.
Yeah.
And he got the Academy Award for Best Actor.
Yeah.
And he's on stage going, because of global warming, the only place in the world we could find snow is on, the South Pole. That was the year we got 100 inches of snow in Boston.
Yeah.
So he could have filmed that in Malden, for Christ's sake, if he was looking for snow.
Get up there and say, I just want to thank the people that stuck by me. The bullshit. Thanks so-and-so for putting me in this movie. Just be cool. Just be cool.
You're an actor.
Yeah.
You want to sell tickets. You don't want to offend people. That's what they don't understand.
But you know what? Everyone's up. We're trying to escape from the world when we watch you. We don't want to. And okay, some people were really genuinely happy for him. Then he gets up and starts spouting that shit. It's like, shut up.
The best thing was, have you ever seen the Ricky Gervais thing at the Golden Globes?
Oh, there's nothing better.
Where he just tore into him. The look that Tom Hanks gave.
Yeah, and he's like, Tom Hanks
He's like,
it's about us.
How does he know?
Yeah, exactly. His name gets dragged around in a lot of unusual ways.
Oh, I think he was on that island. He wasn't with Wilson either.
I'm telling you, I think what happens to these guys, they get so much. They have everything at their disposal. They run out of things to turn them on. What's left? As Sinatra told Woody Allen, "Stay out of the
kindergarten."
And he didn't listen.
Unbelievable. Now, if Quincy was here right now, he would say, I want to thank you for listening and drive
safely and yep.
All right, so next week I'm going to bring my belt.
You bring your championship
And I'm going
belt.
to bring that Superman set.
Unbelievable.
I'm just eagerly waiting my reunion with my co-host, but he'll be back next week.
He'll be here next week.
Yeah, he'll be here. He's confirmed.
We'll have to go pick him up. I don't care. I'll send the limo down to get him. I really don't care. Because I was actually tempted tonight. He's like, I know we can't see, but all he has to do is talk.
Yeah,
Obviously, if you listen to the early in the program, we called him, and there was nothing wrong.
By then he'll be ready to get out.
Oh, definitely in a week. I think he's going back to get the bandages removed like Tuesday or something, and we'll definitely go pick him up, and he'll be down here, and it'll be just back to normal.
Yep.
And speaking of back to normal, Bull wants to be a guest on the show sometime down the line. He called me from.
So we got to send the limo to get him?
No, over the phone.
Oh, over the phone. Oh,
he called me from his new palatial estate.
Is he gonna start crying again?
No, I don't think he's gonna cry.
That's bummed me out so much.
He's like, I miss everybody, and I want to come down soon. I haven't seen Bull since October of last year.
I wonder if he's getting sponge baths.
Oh, I guarantee it. Yeah. I guarantee it. I don't envy those nurses, but I guarantee it.
And being a nurse is definitely a calling, ladies and gentlemen. Shout out to the first responders and our nurses and our doctors who take care of us, especially the nurses.
Oh, I loved that. When I had my surgery, those nurses, I loved them. Yeah. They were.
Tasha spent a little. She get every now and then. Tasha will come up with something. She got to do a few hours in the hospital, and the nurses are always fantastic. I remember there's one where she come because Tasha almost punctured her lung, and the nurse was took her in and did all this stuff. And as the nurse is going home, she brings in a tuna sandwich and hands it to her, and everything. And my wife, Tash thanked her and everything. And I said, you know that she bought that. She didn't go to the cafeteria. She paid for that for you. So.
Applaud. They're hardworking people,
really, and
every guy's had a fantasy about a sexy nurse.
Oh yeah,
100%.
I'm the nurse that likes to.
And on that note, this is After Hours with TC Restani. I'm TC Restani, and we what?
Never close our eyes.